Our theme this year is, who are you called to be? Who are you called to be if you fully expressed your full potential and nothing was standing in your way? And I think this month, because of Earth Day and we're celebrating the Earth, we're asking another question, and that is, who is the Earth calling you to be? Who is Gaia calling you to be? Because she is calling. She's needing healing. Last week we talked a little bit about Earth Day, and the truth is that Earth Day was born out of anger. It was born out of anger because people were tired of seeing some of the destruction that was happening around them to the planet. And so on April 22nd, 1970, 20 million Americans demonstrated for a healthy, sustainable environment in massive coast-to-coast rallies. Ever since then, people have come together to focus on the Earth, and this day has grown and expanded. Kathleen Rogers says that hands down, Earth Day is the largest secular event in the world, and more people are joining in every year. Men, women, and children will haul garbage, clean up coral reefs and mountain trails, show movies, sign petitions, march to solve the climate crisis, hold town hall meetings to plan a better future, and rally to save tigers, elephants, and other threatened species. So this is a day that has grown and taken on a life of its own, and churches throughout the country are probably focusing on this issue today as well. But wait, there's more. In 2009, the United Nations declared April 22nd as International Mother Earth Day. So they changed the name, International Mother Earth Day. And so in so doing, it is no longer just a holiday or event for the US, but it has spread to the entire world. And it draws attention to the need for people to unite across national borders to confront global environmental challenges. Now here's another piece that's interesting that I didn't know. You probably didn't either. Did you know that Bolivia and Ecuador have recognized the rights of Mother Earth in their constitution? So, you know, when you hear something like that, it's like last week we were talking about the world's soul and anima mundi, that the world is a living, breathing being. And how would we feel if somebody treated us as an inanimate object? Because that is how many treat the earth. The earth is a living, breathing being, and you can see the people of Bolivia and Ecuador take it literally when they include her in their constitution and her rights. So we are connected to this world soul. We are connected to the anima mundi. And in some ways, some people would say that we are the brain of the earth. I don't know how smart we are, but we're the brain of the earth. We are divine intelligence. We are the consciousness from which the earth can reflect and see itself. And the truth is that we have the capacity to use this intelligence to solve the problems that are facing the planet today. And you know, the truth is that when we come together powerfully, we're pretty amazing, aren't we? I mean, we're pretty amazing when we set our minds to do something together. We saw it with going to the moon and the space race. And you know, we saw it, even though it was a negative experience and example, we saw it in Boston this week, you know, where they shut down the city as they sought to find the people who bombed the marathon this last week. And you know, it's like, let's just shut it down and let's focus on our goal here. What if we just shut everything down and say, okay, we're going to focus on the global warming issue or the climate change or those kinds of things? How long would it take us to find a solution? The truth is, we have the world in our hands. These are the hands that God uses. These are the hands that the earth uses to heal itself. Now, I know that sometimes the issues can seem way big, like, what am I supposed to do about melting ice caps? I mean, come on, really? I have no clue what I'm supposed to do. But the truth is, all we need to do is to, not all we need to do, but where we can start is with small steps. Because every action that we take has an effect, has a ripple effect. And although we may not have the solution for the bigger problems, we need to start somewhere, right? So it's like the story of the starfish, where, you know, an old man was walking on the beach, and there had been a storm the night before with huge waves, and thousands of starfish had washed up on the shore, and and they're way too far to get back in the water. And as he's walking, he's like, oh gosh, that's too bad. You know, these poor guys are going to die because, you know, they're not in the water. And as he's walking along the beach, he sees a boy, and the boy is picking up the starfish, and he's throwing them back into the ocean. And the boy's obviously been doing this for a very long time because he's out of breath. And the man says to him, what are you doing? And he said, well, you know, the starfish are going to die if they don't get back in the water. And he's like, have you looked around? There are thousands of starfish on the beach. If you do this all day and all night, you're still not going to get them all back. And it doesn't really make any difference. And he said, yes, it does. It makes a difference to this one. And it makes a difference to this one. And it makes a difference to this one. So it's the small steps that we take that may not feel like we're going to make a big difference in solving everything instantly, but the truth is those small steps begin to add up. And there's a momentum that moves us forward, you know, so we can begin to think of other things. So here to give us some ideas about what kind of actions we can take, I'm going to invite up Marcia Rattan. And can you grab that mic on your way up? Join me in welcoming Marcia, Earth Care Ministry team.
Is this on? Oh, good. It's always a real pleasure to stand up here and see how beautiful you are out there. Just know that. So, Karen, thank you so much for inviting me to come up. Karen invited me up because I'm actually your community recycling program manager for the city of Seattle. Yay. So as you've noticed around the church, have you seen the blue and green cans starting to go up? So it's really fabulous that the staff and the membership here are supporting better recycling and composting at our church. And as Karen said, that's one of the great small steps that we can take toward making a difference for our planet. That got started for me, I didn't actually, when I was a child, I didn't think, oh, I want to grow up to be a recycling program manager. I actually grew up in Alaska and lived in Skagway and Palmer, which were really kind of wild, small towns. And I lived there for most of my childhood, really immersed outdoors in the snow, with the moose in the backyard, the northern lights, the amazing mountains surrounding the towns. Have any of you been to Alaska? Anybody here? So yeah, a lot of you, so you know what I'm talking about. And that really deeply imprinted my heart, just so powerfully that as I grew older and became an adult, I was really saddened and angered too at the thought of losing all of the wilderness and the beautiful nature in our world. And that led me on a journey to go to stay at a community in at Findhorn in Scotland, which is a community that honors God and nature very deeply. And I lived there for a few years. I had some visions. I actually took a degree in art education. Again, doesn't look too promising for this job, but became actually hired by Snohomish County and worked there for 17 years as the recycling and composting person, and then have been with Seattle for the last 6 years. Over all of that time, I think what has been really strong for me is that I think deeply imprinted from that time in Alaska, my father was a minister and my mother was really a person who loved nature, and she would point at the moon and how the moon path crossed the water, and she was a gardener, and she also had a real respect for things, that they were not just things to be used lightly, but they were actually made from the earth. And that's what I took away, that every single thing that we wear, touch, use, buy is made of earth, whether it's plastic oil for plastic, trees for paper, metals for our cans from the mining. Everything deserves respect. And so that took me to the recycling, composting career. So I think that's the only thing I want to additionally say about that is we're really going to be emphasizing adding our food waste, which we'll get the experience of downstairs at the brunch. And just a little fact that some of you may not know is that when the food waste goes to the landfill, it creates methane, which is a greenhouse gas, which is 22 times worse than the greenhouse gas that comes out of your car. So anything any of us can do to get the food waste into the compost and over to a compost facility is really helping slow climate change down, and will give our children and their children a chance to adapt to the big changes and hopefully help slow it down even further. So I've had a few opportunities to take my love for the earth, and for me, the earth and God and spirit, they are very much of oneness. There isn't like separate things out there. I just feel very full of love for God in nature and with people. And so in certain ways I've had the opportunity as being the recycling and composting manager for the city, and also our earth care team, which is really exciting and growing. We've got a growing list of folks, and we invite all of you to join up, anybody who's interested. And we also invite you to the brunch afterward. And another way is through the city. I do presentations all over the city. And then a third way I've really enjoyed is I wrote a little rap. And I get to be a rap star. So come on up, Earth Care team.
Yeah, just to the side.
All right. Where you got your sign? Okay, you need to spread out behind, line up. Okay. All right. So this is your Earth Care Team Plus. Yay! Now, we're going to do this, swaying, snapping fingers, and we're going to ask you to do the same, please. Support us up here. Show your love for the earth. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Recycling is cool. I'm no fool. Recycling is cool when you do it at Sunday school. Do it with papers, bottles, and cans. Recycling works when you use your hands. Well, I'm not the principal and I'm not a preacher, but we all gotta do it. Kids and teachers, recycling is cool. I'm no fool. Recycling is cool. I'm no fool. Compost is hot. Fool, I'm not. Compost is hot on your garden plot. Sort it in the lunchroom, scrape it in the tub. Compost happens from your grub. Well, I'm not the president and I'm not a star, but we all gotta compost whoever we are. Compost is hot. Fool, I'm not. Compost is hot. Fool, I'm not. Recycling is cool. Compost is hot. I'm gonna give it all I've got. Fool, I'm not. All right. There we go. Nice job, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Woo! All right.
Yes.
Let's hear it for the Earth Care team and Marcia Rattan. And Carl is also going to be speaking downstairs at the Earth Care brunch to give us more ideas. And you'll notice in the bulletin I have put 20 small steps to help the earth, from go vegetarian once a week at least, wash in warm or cold water, wrap gifts creatively, plant a tree, shower with your partner, pay bills online, cut down on junk mail. So just a few of these. One was turn your computer off at night. It's not on this list, but I was like, really? And yeah, you can save a lot of energy by doing that. Now, the truth is that, there really have been a lot of changes that have already been made. A half a century ago, San Francisco Bay's shoreline was rimmed with wharves, factories, refineries, ports, trash dumps, and sewage discharge outlets. And there were only 4 miles of coast that were open to the public. Not only that, but Berkeley and San Mateo were planning to fill in parts of the bay in order to have more land. 3 East Bay women, 3 women, looked at this and said, nope, I don't think this is right. And they founded an organization called Save San Francisco Bay Association, which is now called Save the Bay. Now, it's taken 50 years, but in 50 years, the bay is much cleaner than it's been. It's becoming a magnet now for birds. It is a place for windsurfers to hang out. And for the first time, harbor porpoises are returning for the first time in 70 years. 3 women. So when you think, everything's so big, there's nothing I can do about it. What am I going to do? 3 women helped to heal the San Francisco Bay. In March in 1903, President Theodore Roosevelt was approached by naturalists who asked him to take this little island called Pelican Island, which is near Vero Beach, Florida, because pelicans and other birds were nesting there. And their feathers were used for hats, to make hats look pretty. And they realized that if they didn't do something to protect this little 5-acre island, those birds would be gone. Plus, they wanted to develop it. And so the naturalists went to Theodore Roosevelt and they said, can you set this land aside so it's just for the birds? And he said to them, well, can I do that? I mean, is there a law that says that I can't do that? And they said, no, you can do that. And he said, very well then, I declare it. And it was the first wildlife refuge, and it is still a wildlife refuge. And the truth is that when we come together, there is nothing that we cannot do. And if you would lower the screen, I just want to show you, it's a 2-minute clip, and it's about singing for the earth. And the reason I want to show it to you is because it's 80,000 plus people. It's very inspirational. It's from all over the world. And it kind of gives you that feeling of what happens when we come together in a collective way. And if somebody could turn the lights off, that would be helpful. Demonstrate that human beings everywhere are driven by their faith, their conscience, their sense of duty, or by a moral imperative to save the planet. It is staggering to think about 1 billion people working together in collective action. All those faces. Imagine the whole planet working together to find a solution to these problems. So a movement that started in 1970 has morphed into International Mother Earth Day. Bolivia and Ecuador have recognized the rights of Mother Earth in their constitution. The truth is, Mother Earth is calling you. You are receiving a call from Mother Earth. She needs your heart, she needs your hands, and she needs your divine intelligence for her healing. Every action, no matter how small, matters, just as the boy changed the life of one starfish, or 3 women changed San Francisco Bay. The world is a living, breathing being and needs our healing. We have the whole world in our hands. Let us heal it.